Hello everyone, welcome to training on PTGui stitching. I'm Rohan and today I will show you how to use PTGui to stitch your Google Street View images. Google suggests that we shoot on aperture priority mode using a 8 mm fisheye lens on a tripod with a panorotator. Uh, PTGui is a software system which helps you stitch images. With Google Street View removing the desktop editor, this will definitely help a lot of photographers. So let me share my screen and take you to PTGui. Okay, so as everybody can see, this is the PTGui stitching software dashboard. First, we will use a single pano from outside. Go to the folder, select all the images, drag and drop on PTGui to import them into the software. You can see all 12 images have been imported to PTGui. You can see that the simple version of PTGui will show you 4 tabs: Project Assistant, Source Images, Crop and Mask. Click on Advanced tab to open all the other tabs. For Google Street View, we would not require a lot of editing to be done on PTGui. But there are a few things that we need to take care of. The first tab that we should click on is the Crop tab. Crop tab is used to tell PTGui which area of the image has to be used to create control points. With a crop sensor camera and a full frame camera, 8 mm fisheye lens, the image has black bands at the corners. We do not want PTGui to use these black bands in any way. So we crop the image so that PTGui understands that anything inside this circle it has to use to create control points. Create the crop for one image and PTGui automatically adjusts the crop for all the other exposures in the project. Go back to Project Assistant and click on Align Images. This is when PTGui analyzes, understands about the images, and creates control points for each image. This new window opened is the panorama editor. On this panorama editor viewer, we would recommend do not use this as a reference. You can close this window. You can go to the preview tab. You can select or add the number of pixels you want to use for your image. Click on preview and open in default application for .jpg files. PTGui will stitch the panorama to show you the preview, and it will use your default photo viewer or image viewer on your system to show the stitched image. You can see PTGui has done a seamless stitch on this image. There is slightly a little exposure variation. To adjust this, and for every Google Street View shot images shot using the guidelines that Google provides, we recommend going to the exposure/HDR tab. This tab gives you different options to select from, but for Google Street View, we recommend exposure compensation. Go back to preview and stitch the image again. checking of exposure compensation does is that PTGui understands the exposures and gives you a much better seamless image. Although the difference between the previous image and this image is very slight, but you can see around the tree, the exposure has been maintained much better. Now that your panorama is stitched, all you need to do is go to create panorama. This is the master setting where you can select the width and height of your image or set optimal size. Go to quality and change it to 100. Click OK. File format gives you different formats to choose from. If you want to edit your image, if you want to post process your stitched panorama, we recommend exporting in TIFF, or you can go directly to Photoshop using the PSD file. In our case, because this image is going to be uploaded to Street View app directly, we will select JPEG. The folder used to export the output file is default as the folder which is the original folder from where the images have been taken. Do not change any settings on this window. You can create panorama by clicking on create panorama. PTGui will stitch this panorama and export it to the folder, to the original folder. Stitching of panorama depends on the system that you're using. Uh, Faster the system, better and quicker will be your stitching. Also, the width and height chosen for stitching also affects the speed of stitching. The panorama is almost stitched. So now that it's stitched, let me take you to the folder and show you our stitched panorama. You can see here that this panorama has been stitched seamlessly by PTGui. There are no stitching issues in this panorama, and this is ready to use on SVR. Most of the businesses on Google Street View use are used for businesses which have inside. So let me create a new file and let me create and stitch a panorama from inside. Just like before, select all images, drag and drop onto PTGui, images, click on advanced button, go to crop. For creating a better crop, you can use the overexposed image, crop the image as per your need, and then click on align images. PTGui is analyzing the images and creating control points. We will close this window, go to preview. There is another option of viewing this panorama, which is using the PTGui viewer. With PTGui viewer, a stitched panorama can be viewed in 360 degrees. This is the PTGui viewer, and you can see that we can see a seamlessly stitched inside panorama in its viewer. The ceiling has also been stitched very nicely. As we shoot 12 images for one panorama and not the floor is not stitched automatically by PTGui. Let's close this viewer and let's create the new panorama. You can see how simple this is to create a stitched panorama for uploading through SV app. These two methods, these two stitches that I showed you were using the Google guidelines, which are using aperture priority mode, which is a semi-auto mode on the DSLR camera, using 8 mm fisheye, pano head, and tripod. Once this stitch is over, I will show you how PTGui works if you shoot on manual mode, 8 mm fisheye, tripod, and pano head. The concept of stitching will remain the same. It is only one or two windows that would change, and I will show you how to use manual mode images in PTGui. Let me show you the stitched image in the folder. Just like before, this image has been seamlessly stitched using PTGui. Now let me take you to PTGui, open a new project, and let me show you how a panorama, which has been captured using manual mode, can be stitched in PTGui. Import the images using drag and drop. Go to advanced, click on crop, set your crop, and let PTGui know the image. Go back to project assistant and click on align images. As you can see, PTGui detects that this image has been clicked on manual mode, and it gives you three options. First option is enable HDR mode and link the bracketed images. Choose this option if the images were taken from a tripod and they are already aligned with pixel accuracy. As most of the Google Street View images are clicked using tripod, we recommend selecting this option. Second option is enable HDR mode but do not link images. Please use this option when the images have been captured using bracketed images but handheld. Third is this is not an HDR exposure set, do not enable HDR mode. Because we have used tripod, we'll use enable HDR mode and we'll select true HDR and click on OK. PTGui will analyze these images, create HDR images from the bracketed images and stitch them together. Just like before, we will close this window, go to preview, select the pixel values and preview as .jpg files. You can see here how PTGui has created a beautifully stitched HDR seamless panorama. With all these images that we've clicked, we have not encountered any stitching issues. In case you find some stitching issues, all you need to do is go to the control point tab of PTGui. Here you can see that there are two windows. The left window is for you to select one image, and the right window is to create another image and create control points on it. You can see PTGui has automatically created many control points on these two images. What this means is that PTGui has selected these points, control points, to and has analyzed, and to stitch, it has put these control points on the images. Let me show you how to add a control point to this image. Let me select an image here and the corresponding image over here. We can see that there are overlaps on both sides, the television being one. To create control points, select the edges of the television, and you can see how automatically PTGui has selected the edge of this TV and created a control point. You can take the edge of this mini fridge, the table. This is how you can create control points manually. Once you create control points, you should always go to optimize your tab and run the optimizer. The optimizer uses these control points and realigns the images, and this tells us this is a very good stitch. Let us preview this image in the PTGui viewer and see if our image has been stitched perfectly. Now, opening the viewer, you can see the inside of the room has been stitched seamlessly using the control points. Okay. This is how create, we stitch panoramas using individual panoramas. Let me show you how we can use batch stitching to create and make our workflow faster. This folder consists of 48 images, which for Google, because we click 12 images per panorama, means 4 panoramas in the folder. To create batch stitching or to create a batch builder, select the first 12 images from your folder, drag and drop it on PTGui, click on the Advanced tab, Go to the crop tab, adjust the cropping and align images. You will see that this image will be stitched seamlessly. Close the window, go to exposure and HDR. As we recommend exposure compensation for Google Street View images, exposure compensation tab. Go to project settings, go to create panorama, set optimum size, change the quality to 100. If you want file format to be JPEG, please keep it JPEG, or you have the option to change it. We will keep it to JPEG. Here, do not create the panorama. Go to tools. On tools, you will find batch builder as an option. Click on batch builder. The new window lets you select or generate new projects. Click generate new project. Select browse. Go to the panorama batch folder created. This is my batch folder. Select the folder. Image file extension will be JPEG. If you do not know the extension, please leave it empty. Images for panorama will be 12 for Google Street View. Click on OK. You can see that it has generated 4 projects with the inputs that I have given. Now, use template. Use current project as a template. Save a batch. This batch is saved. You can name this batch. Let me name it PTGui training batch. Now generate these projects. PTGui will ask you if you want to start batch stitching now or if you want to go do it later. Let us stitch the batch now. Stitcher stitching these 4 panoramas now. While the batch stitches, let me take you to the folder and explain you the advantages of batch stitching. You can see here that PTGui has created individual project files for these panoramas. In case you want to edit, you want to change control points, you want to change settings of the panorama, you can go and change it on individual panoramas. You do not need to stitch the batch again or make the batch building again. Let us check for the stitching. As I mentioned before, stitching of the images depends on the system that you're working on. The speed depends on the RAM of your system. Let us wait and see how the batch stitcher stitches this first panorama. The first panorama is almost stitched. You will see how automatically, once this first panorama is stitched, the batch stitcher will automatically start working on the second panorama. Once the first panorama is stitched, let me go and show you the first stitched panorama. You can see our batch builder and batch stitcher have stitched our first panorama seamlessly without any issues. Okay. Now, while the batch stitching is going on, let me go to the live chat and see if we have any questions posted on our live chat. On the video, the viewers can see that there's a live chat window on the right hand side. You can post your questions here and I will try to answer them right now. Please use the live chat window on the right hand side of this video panel to ask any question. You can see that the second image, let us see the stitched panorama. Okay, you can see that even this panorama has seamlessly been stitched by PTGui. If there are any questions, please use the live chat window to post questions and I will answer them for you. While the batch stitching is happening, let me remind you, Walkinto is a company. We are offering stitching services at 1 USD per panorama, which does not include color correction or nadir correction or exposure correction. We stitch the panoramas for you and we help you make your workflow even faster with our quick turnaround time. Let me check if we have some questions. Okay. Anybody who has any doubts or has any queries, please use the live chat to post questions. Okay, PTGui is almost stitched the third image as well. Let us see how the third image has been stitched. Okay, I can see there are some issues with this stitch. It has not stitched the image properly. So let us go to the individual PTGui file. Let us align these images. So PTGui is analyzing this image again and generating control points and aligning them again. You can see how PTGui has managed to create a much better stitched panorama. Let us see if there are some stitching issues with this panorama. The idea behind batch stitching is to reduce the amount of work you do. So you can create batch builders, you can create batch stitching and keep it overnight. If there are any issues like the one we right now found, you can go to the individual stitched panoramas project, align the images, and you see that the image has been stitched seamlessly by PTGui. Now all you need to do is go to your create panorama and create this panorama. As we already have a panorama named with the same name, let's just overwrite it and it will create the panorama in your folder. Let us see if the batch stitching is over. Okay, so it is almost over. This is the image that we realigned, restitched, because PTGui batch builder was not able to stitch it properly. Let us see. Our batch builder is almost finished stitching all the 4 images. We will check this 4th image as well. Let me stitch this 3rd image and show you the restitched panorama in the folder before going to the 4th image. PTGui is almost stitched this image. Let me go to batch and check the 3rd image tree. Yes, you can see how PTGui has managed to create a very nice seamless panorama out of the image. Let us check the 4th image that was stitched using PTGui. You can see this image has been nicely seamlessly stitched by PTGui. Okay. So we can see how we can use these individual images, projects, PTGui projects, to realign, restitch, or edit any settings that we want in PTGui. We don't have any questions at the moment. Please use the window on the right hand side for live chat and post your questions, post your doubts, and I will answer them. Google Images, you clicked using the Google guidelines, do not have floor stitched. In the last session, we had a viewer asking us how we can create the floor like Google uses it. So let me close PTGui and I will use this panorama to showcase how you can use content aware tool in Photoshop to get rid of the tripod that is visible in the image. We recommend shooting the images in a way that tripod is not visible. We recommend shooting on manual mode so that you can create true HDRs in PTGui. Now, this image, all you need to do is select the area that you want to use content aware on, press Shift F5 and click content aware, normal 100% and click on OK. Photoshop will analyze this image and create a fill using the content which is on the pixels which are right next to this selection. Once the fill is done, you will see how we can use the content aware tool on Photoshop to remove tripods, to remove and fill the floor and create a very nice stitched panorama. You can see here how Photoshop has very nicely removed the tripod and the black marks from the bottom of the image. You can save it and use this directly in Street View app. Thank you for joining this training. I will be waiting to see if anyone has any questions. So as I mentioned before, Walkinto provides stitching service at USD $1 per panorama, which does not include color correction or nadir correction, but to help you make your workflow faster, to help you with your workload, we use Google Drive shared folders. You can create a Google Drive folder, share it with golocl@intlenture.in, and you can send a confirmation mail for upload to rohan@intlenture.in. We will take these images, we will stitch them, and we will upload them again to this shared folder for your use. Please use the live chat window on the right of this video to post your questions. Let me see if we have any questions. We will add the email address to the description. This video is recorded. This will be live on our YouTube channel. You can subscribe to Walkinto's YouTube channel. You can post any questions you want. You can share the questions with me. You can connect with me at rohan@intlenture.in. These email addresses will be in the description box of our YouTube video. So thank you so much for joining this training module. We will wait for a few minutes to check if any viewer has any doubts, any questions. We do not have any doubts at the moment. PTGui is a software system that helps you stitch your panoramas. Anytime you are using PTGui and you want to ask any questions, you can connect with me at rohan@intlenture.in. So I see no questions being posted. Okay. Thank you so much for joining this training session. For any help, for any queries, please connect with me at rohan@intlenture.in. Have a great day. Thank you.